Hello aspirants, I am Indumati Karthikeyan from Inkara AS Academy. Today we are going to see about the 4th December current affairs. This topic comes under the editorial reflection on BAKU NCQG outcome. This topic comes under our GS3 conservation, environment, pollution and degradation. So why it is in the news? The COP23 conference in Baku brought both progress and disappointment, particularly in handling of the new collective quantified goal that is on climate finance. While a $300 billion annual finance target by 2035 was agreed upon, this figure is significantly lower than the $1.3 trillion needed by the developing nations to address the dual challenges of mitigation and adaptation to the climate change. So, the critics view the outcome as insufficient to meet the pressing needs to vulnerable communities already facing severe climate disruptions such as flood, droughts, and also the heat waves. So, emerging criteria, the key area of the contention, including the balance between the grants and loans. Many developing nations sought non-debt inducing solutions while weather nations resisted, leaving the mix of financing sources ambiguous. So, additionally, we can discuss that human rights and also the role of the indigenous local communities in climate solution were largely omitted from the final text, drawing criticism for sidelining the critical stakeholders. So, this is an emerging problem in India, all over the world, in the increasingly visible impact on climate change across the geographics, across the all India, all over world, apart from the growing body of scientific evidence, serve as a constant reminder of the need of the accelerate climate action, that is a cleaner fuels and technological solution are emerging across the sectors, but it could be increasingly accessed and deployed with the adequate focus on the means of the implementation. And also the against of the backdrop of COP29, which is held in the Baku, Azerbaijan in November 2024, branded as a finance COP. The hope was to see the ambitious outcome branded as a finance COP, that is a hope was to be seen as ambitious outcome, especially related to the NCQG and also the new collective quantified goal, which strongly supported this understanding. First of all, the financing needs, that is in the developed world, there is a role of finance in clean energy. So there is a crucial component to accelerate the adoption of the clean alternatives, especially in developing countries. While some renewable technology pay off in the long run due to lower fuel and also the constitute operational cost, the upfront of the cost of some of these technologies are much larger, much higher than the current options, requiring by the government support to ensure the affordability and also the consumer's end. So this is a major criteria, and also there is a major challenge is the green technologies, that is the green technology may still in evolving or associated with the risk and failure. The front runners may need to be there. So the pressure on the government resources that need priorities towards the developmental activities such as financial additional finance must be upscaled urgently within the decade. Is transformational change ought to be expected in the adoption of clean and efficient alternative in the developing countries and access of modern energy and also the infrastructure improvements. There is a India's expenditure on green energy is a concern. There is a government allocation for the green energy schemes encompasses the wide range of initiatives aimed at the expanding renewable energy and also the infrastructure, promoting energy efficiency and also the clean fuel technology, innovative as a part of commitment to global climate goals. These are the MNRE received an highest ever allocation of 19,100 crore in the budget, that is a 2024-25, apart from about 40 crore being allocated for these kind of enhanced energy efficiency, and also we can support the vehicles, that is the electrical vehicles. The sector subsidies of 5,790 crore rupees has been provided for the electric vehicle manufacturing, and phase 2 of the faster adoption of the manufacturing, that is hybrid electrical vehicles. So source of time, finance and transition, there is a concern of the fiscal debt. So the mainly they are growing concerns regarding the fiscal debt of the basis, or to ask part financial support from the developed countries to be a form of public grants, and rather than loans. So they expecting the grants, not a loan to repay. So the challenges is very high for the capital cost in the developing countries. So financial flows for the developed countries must ideally aim to strengthen the developing countries to support and accelerate the climate change. And also there is a limitation of debt instrument. The use of the debt instrument to access finance does not work well to developing countries, since the higher debt burdens limit the ability to successful incentive domestic private capital for climate actors. Developing countries attract much higher lending rates or compared to the developed countries, and much the global finance flows restricted within the organization of the economic cooperation and development. So we should ensure the affordable finance for the development. So we can the developing countries or affordable lending rates is very much important for this step. So some of the major role of the NCOG, that is a Cancun pledge, that is 2010 it's happened. So developing countries are pledged to provide $100 billion annually up to 2020. In the Paris Agreement, that is a COP21. Further, the Cancun commitment as the base point, the rationale for establishing NCQG was pressing, and also it is criticized the lack of specifically, and it's not in accountable. It's objectives of the rationale for establishing NCOG for pressing the existing climate pledge have generally have criticized for the lack of specifically unaccountability, and also there is a object for the NCOG, that is establish clear and quantified objectives that nation could aim to achieve, and the transparency and accountability of the forefront. And also there is a had of work program in the COP26 program, that is at happened in the Glasgow. That program discussion was established to run the 2022-24, culminating that towards the discussion on COP29. There is a major financial needs and pledges are happening. So financial needs, the second needs determination report by the Standing Committee on Finance under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change estimated that it is between the $5 trillion to $7 trillion is needed by 2030 to meet half the need of the 98 countries. The totally 192, though it's half of the country's need. It's around $5 trillion to $7 trillion. Developing countries request is developing countries have put forward a conservative act, that is $1.3 trillion annually, COM29, largely from public sources to enable leveraging the loss through the private finance. And also there is a developed countries pledges, that is the world has a NCOG agreed to provide a visible figure of $300 billion annually till 2035. The quantum is not minuscule, that oddly represents a major challenge, that is probably a target that could be achieved even with currently and minimally additional effort if we account the further inflation. And also we have so much of challenges in this outcome, that is major structure of finance, disappointment with NCOG, and also there is a positive aspect of concern is that like financial mechanism, the adaptation fund, the least developed countries fund, the special climate fund from the 2023, these are the not aligned and narrative by the urgency of the climate actions. So what is the way forward towards these steps, or We need to finance commitment at COP29 and also progress but not ambitious enough. But we have overall NCQG outcome is rather disappointing. Does not seem and align well with very core of why the goal was set up in the first place. And also there is a failure to recognize the global south means it clearly bypasses the principle of equitable burden sharing the climate justice. It is falls to recognize the financial needs in the global south. So the way forward to keep the talks ongoing, climate change has no geographical boundary. Thus, an imperative the international community must cooperate towards a global good keeping climate justice at the core of the respecting the principle and also the common but differential responsibilities and respective capabilities, that is CBDR and RC developing countries must stick together to ensure the transition is just the fair and real sense. So the global community must prioritize climate justice, ensuring fair and equitable financial commitment for all the nation. Thank you so much.